Good evening everyone, and welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So today's video, I'm going to be doing a rebuttal against another YouTuber's video. Now before I begin, let me explain something to you guys. I am not saying anything negative about this very established farmsteader who has a market garden. Nothing at all. He has great videos. I simply want to talk about the debt end of it, okay? His video was how much does it cost to start a market garden? And this is my rebuttal. In his video, and I'm gonna clip in the short that I found that brought me to this topic, he talks about basically, in his opinion, $30,000 is his ideal for you to begin a market garden. And I'm gonna go and do the opposite. I'm gonna talk to you about why I think that you should do it as close to debt-free as you possibly can. And I'm gonna tell you why I feel that way, and we're gonna discuss the facts.
How much does it cost to start a market garden? I've got a list here of things that, in my opinion, you need in order to start a market garden and do it well. You don't have to purchase all these things at the same time if you're starting a market garden. However, to me, if you have the capital and you're wanting to start and do it well, then in my opinion, you need about $30,000. Now, I'm gonna get a lot of kickback on this video, and I think people are gonna say that's way too much. You know, it doesn't cost that much, you can bootstrap it, fantastic. But in my opinion, a business takes money to get started, and so you need upfront capital. And so if you really want to enjoy the journey of market gardening and starting your farm, I think you need about 30K to get started. If you want to watch a more in-depth video on the cost of starting a market garden where I dive deeper into this, you can go over to my YouTube channel and watch that long form video.
I was going to sit at my chair over there, but you know, it's still 105 degrees straight temperature here in Louisiana. So I'm going to sit under Mother Oak and I'm going to soak up this amazing shade that she's providing while we discuss this very important topic. So how much does it actually take to start a market garden? Well, this gentleman suggests the baseline $30,000. Now, for me, it was $0 and no credit cards. I basically just started walking it out. Now, have I been very blessed to be accepted into scholarships and training programs that have helped me out quite a bit? Yes, I was. But beside the point, I still started a market garden with no one holding my hand and no debt. So if you begin your market garden, $30,000 in debt, listen to what I'm going to show, and I'm going to show it to you on paper as we talk about it. All right, guys, here is our magic number, $30,000 in debt. Now, as we talk about, I want to make a point. We're just going to go and we're going to say there's no interest on this. Okay, so say you saved up $30,000, you sold your house, you took a loan, zero interest. That's how we're going to roll with it. Makes it easier for figuring. $30,000. How quickly would you want to pay this off? In my mind, as soon as possible. But let's just say that your goal is to pay this off in 1 year. All right, in 1 year, this is how you have to break this down. If you could do it in 12 months, you would need to make $2,500 a month to pay this off. But here's the kicker. The majority of you guys do not live in areas where you're gonna be able to garden 12 full months. You're actually gonna be able to garden 6 full months. Now, keep in mind, this is barring bad weather where I live, hurricanes, where some of you live, tornadoes, late frost, early frost, pest, a bad crop, a moose gets into your garden, the deer find it, barring all of that, and you have perfect planting and reaping, right? Sowing and reaping, everything goes as planned. It's going to take you 6 full months to pay this loan off, and you're going to have to make $5,000 a month to do it. Now, to make this kind of money, guys, you're going to need to garden full time. You are going to need no less than 2 acres, okay? Unless you are a very, very good gardener who has had years of experience running, managing, from the sowing to the harvesting of a market garden, and you have about 10 years under your belt, you know this business, you have established customers, If you're like that, then you can probably nail this. For the rest of us, this would be almost impossible. So you're going to need to make $5,000 over the next 6 months without missing a beat, just to pay the $30,000. That's not your living expenses. And to grow that much food in a month, guys, you're going to have employees. Probably 2 full-time employees. Now, how are you going to sell what you're growing in your market garden? Are you going to do it online? That's a lot of extra work. Are you going to go to farmers markets? That is a lot of work. Are you going to do a CSA? Let's just say you're going to do a CSA. So you need to make $5,000 a month for 6 months straight. How many CSA members does that entail? All right, you're going to need 50 CSA members at $100, or you're going to need, let me double check my notes, okay, or you're going to need 40 CSA members at $125 just to make this, okay? Here's the kicker. I already told you guys, to grow enough food for 50 people every month, you're going to need about 2 acres if you're beginning. If you're very good at managing space, succession planting, knowing how to get one crop in as one crop's coming out, you probably can do it on an acre, acre and a quarter. So say you have your acreage already. You're going to need to supply food for 50 people that month, or 40. But for the rest of us, we're going to need a couple of full-time employees to pull this off. And you have to remember, we're doing this full time, so we need to pay our expenses. So let's just say that every bill you have. Now remember, this is not going out and getting your hair done, ladies, or buying a new toy, guys. This is your living expenses. Just say it's $2,500 a month. And for your 2 employees, you pay them on the low side at $1,250 a month. That's an additional $5,000 a month that you're going to have to make for 6 months. So 5,000 plus 5,000 is $10,000. You have to make $10,000. That's a lot of money in a market garden getting started. And for that to work, you are literally going to have 100 CSA members at $100 a month, or 80 at $125 a month. Now guys, I'm a realist, but $10,000 a month for 6 months straight to start a market garden, just to pay the debt off, pay your living experience, and pay somebody peanuts for that hard work, 2 people peanuts for that hard work. I don't see anybody being able to pull that off in their first year as a market garden. In fact, I'm gonna be honest, I don't see anybody doing that in the first 4 or 5 years of running a market garden. I see you breaking even. I see you working through weather, equipment, planting, figuring out everything you need about your soil. I see that happening. That's what I see. We started our CSA off this year, and I started with 5. And I'm going to tell you what, I was surprised because I have grown over 1,000 pounds of food out of this garden, but I also feed my livestock and my family too. So to grow enough food to feed myself and my husband, all the small livestock on the property, and 5 additional people for a CSA membership every week, guys, it's a lot. Now I've got a 1/4 acre market garden going on back here. And I'm going to tell you, I have an amazing support system. I take classes every month, and 3 months out of the year, I take them every week. Now, without that support, this would not be happening, because I started last year. I totally changed my design this year. Thank God I've not invested that much in infrastructure. What I mean is, I'm not using hoop houses, hot houses, any of that yet. Will I ever? I don't know. I'm in Southeast Louisiana. That's zone 9A, 9B. And I basically have about 7.5 months of hot summer that I can grow a really good spring, summer garden. I also have about 2 months where I can grow a very nice fall garden. and then overwinter a lot of different vegetables for early spring. So there's only about 2.5 months that I can't produce food out in the open that I can like harvest immediately during that period of time. So for us, I've got a real flexible schedule, but where you're located really matters. I'm going to add in some clips from some different gardening market gardeners that I saw, and I did a little research. One is a gentleman that literally worked on market gardens for 10 years before he bought his own land, invested, and began, which means he was very established, very knowledgeable, and knew exactly what he was doing, and he's doing amazingly.
Move all of this organic matter around, you're going to need some basic tools like wheelbarrows, shovels, forks, spades, and some basic hand tools like that. Also, to measure and lay out your growing beds, you're going to need some pegs, ropes, and a measure tape. The things that are optional depending a bit on your time frame and your situation are a rental tractor, a walk-behind tractor to do an initial tillage of your land, or if you cannot get your hands on enough compost and you've got some more time available, you might want to consider using a silage tarp laid down on the growing area to kill off the existing vegetation. Then once you've prepared your growing beds, we go over to growing strong and healthy seedlings.
There's a young girl and her family in New Zealand, and they basically threw all their money in together and went all out, but even they took classes because they had no background.
In this video, we're going to talk about the design and layout of the garden beds. I've come from the city in Wellington. I've got no farming experience. We've been on the property for about 6 months. My family and I invested in a lifestyle block, and we decided we were going to do something different. We were going to change our lives and start farming, start a market garden. Coming from the city, I've had no experience in growing anything. I've never grown a vegetable or a flower, and now we're trying to make something to provide vegetables and fresh produce for our local community. Shortly after we moved here, we went on a market gardening course at Jody Roebuck's farm in the Taranaki. And that was really interesting, really exciting. He's got a fully operational market garden. Jody showed us
all I'm trying to tell you is, do you have a market where you are for your goods? What makes you stand out? Is it really worth $30,000 of debt to start a market garden? And honestly, my opinion is no, it's not. Debt is never worth it. Guys, we started debt-free. This has been built with sweat equity. That is the money I invested in my land, sweat equity. And if you are not made of that mindset, you're going to sink yourselves. I looked at a lot of the comments on people's that had talked about market gardens, and people are like, oh, I'm $15,000 in. I need to spend another $25,000, and I haven't even got my business off the ground. It's going to take me years to make a profit. You're right, it is, because it's really not a profit until what you have borrowed is paid off. I don't care what anyone else tells you about business. You're really never making a profit until all your debt is paid off. Then it's a profit. So if you're starting a market garden, a farm, or a homestead, a farmstead in debt, you're not profitable until all your debt is paid. And I know that goes against so many people's mindsets because we have been programmed to be consumers in America. I mean, like the whole world at this point. If you're not in a third world, your mindset is spend, 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 spend money to make money. And that is completely backwards of how it actually should be. You start with what you have. So what if you're using some janky reused bottles that you sterilized to sell your worm tea in? Who cares if you're using recycled? The point is, if your product is good, people are going to purchase it, okay? Build your clientele. Then begin to spend the money that you're actually making. Guys, every penny I make on this farm, 2 acres, everything we own is paid for. Is some of it old? Yeah. Do I wish I had a BCS mower? Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you what I do have. I have some plastic tarps that I pull right over those cover crops, and I take care of business. Follow your dreams. Chase them down. Stay out of debt. Owe no man anything. You will sleep better at night. Build it from the ground up with the sweat of your brow. If you're going to pay anybody interest, pay it to yourself. God bless you. I really hope this video helps you. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more ways to build your business, your farmstead, your homestead, your market garden debt-free.